Dogecoin, and all these cryptocurrencies. All right, so listen. I know you hear everybody saying Bitcoin, Shiba, Dogecoin, and all these cryptocurrencies out here, and you don't really know what they're talking about. I'm here to tell you this. You don't have to know what they're talking about. Right now is a critical time in our economy where wealth is being exchanged, and you can put your money into something and get rich. It's the beginning of the internet again. It really is. You remember 1999 Y2K? We thought internet was going to end the world. The computers was going to stop and all that crazy mess. We didn't know what it was, but today we can't live without the internet. It's happening again, and it's called a blockchain, and you can invest in it right now. We make it easy for you to invest in it. Just come and copy what we do, and you can learn as we go. Come check us out, man. The IOD squad, invest or die. We make it easy to invest. Come check us out. Yo, we up in this thing, man. Listen, man, we about to get y'all locked in real fast. Let's see. Morning Breath Show, man. We're about to talk about everything with Bitcoin and ball. We're about to get into this press conference. I think we got started already. Well, I think they're getting started now. Let's go check. Peek in here. Okay, well, I don't hear anything. Ain't nothing going on. All right, so we're going to chill. What's going on, man? I'm deep. Get
working today. Oh, didn't see it.
Get the set right. Get the set going on. Get the set right. What's good, man? Y'all make sure y'all like, share.
Recording in progress.
Let's see.
Hey, Coach, can you hear us?
I can.
Give me a thumbs
Great.
up. Thumbs up.
Well, greetings all. Happy Monday. Welcome to Manny Diaz's weekly press conference.
Yeah, I got a question.
Last home game at Hard Rock Stadium
in the comment section.
Saturday night. Canes play Virginia Tech at senior night. Kickoff is 7:30 p.m. on ACC Network. As always, we'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll roll into questions. Coach, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Carter. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Obviously, it was a difficult time period following a heartbreaking loss in Tallahassee on Saturday. We got back to work yesterday. The guys came in, got a lift, met, went over the film, saw all the good, all the bad. I think the key part of yesterday was that we had an important team meeting at the end, and we were able to come together and find a purpose and a togetherness and a bond to finish the season. The one thing that these guys have shown all year is that they will fight, stay together through anything, and that's unusual. If you look around in college football in this day and age, and specifically to fight for our seniors. We don't have the same number of older guys as we did when we started the season, due to injuries and other attrition. But we do have a special group of guys who will be playing their last game in Hard Rock Stadium on Saturday. And for guys, whether it's however long they've been here, guys like Mike Harley, Charleston Rambo, Navon Donaldson, Jared Williams, Lou Headley, on defense, John Ford, Jay Silvera, Frierson, Amari Carter, Zach McLeod. I mean, there are some guys who have really, really put in the work, the blood, sweat, and tears for this program. And we committed as a team to send these guys out with a great memory with their last game at Hard Rock Stadium with a win against a very tough Virginia Tech football team. So that's where we left it. And I think our guys will be ready to get back to work when we come back to practice tomorrow. And with that, open up for questions.
Great. Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Gary Furman. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, sorry about that. So I just wanted to go back to the decisions that you had to make in the fourth quarter. They were tough decisions, game-shaping decisions that didn't go your way. When you went back over it, did you have any second thoughts or regrets? Specifically, I'm talking about, the 4th and 1.5, 2, where you had a chance to go for it, and if you get the first down, the game's pretty much over. And then the other decision, I guess, would be when they got down to the goal line to score. Had you let them score at that point, the offense would have had a minute or so on the clock with at least 2 timeouts, I guess, to come back and either tie the game or go ahead. And I mean, obviously, those are the decisions head coaches make. But did you have any regrets over it in the last, say, 24 hours?
Yeah, you always go back and forth, and you look at every decision that you made. The 4th down and a yard and a half, like you say. I thought we all felt very comfortable punting it. We certainly, in hindsight, could have gone for it, but either way, we're going to have to get a stop. The ball was on our side of the field. We've been pretty aggressive on 4th down. That's kind of been in our DNA. But we've also been really, really good in 4th quarter defense, especially in the last couple of drives of the game when we were playing in the ACC. We've got a great punter. And we were on a 28-3 run in the game. We've been playing very well. Maybe it was 26 at that point. We've been playing very well against them. So punting the ball, we felt good about that. Obviously, we came inches away from downing at the 1 yard line, which certainly would have changed the dynamic of that last drive. It was a 4th and 14 that got us into the, you mentioned the bridge between the one decision and the second decision. The 4th and 14 is obviously the play of the game. Once that was converted, that's I think the hardest one. And Florida State had been on the 1 yard line this year at Wake Forest and had fumbled a sneak that was recovered by Wake Forest. And that's a part of it. We have a surrender call where defensively you let the offense score. And a lot of times, you've seen that it was an Indiana Penn State a year ago, and
somebody takes
down
him
by
that.
1. Somebody got to lose on a game
Saturday night.
But the fact they still need a touchdown, obviously they were not far away. But the idea was that hey, can we at least take a shot? Take one shot, see if they can fumble, false start, something like that happens. The tough blow for us was that we were offsides on the 2nd down because they had an issue too. They're still down by 5.
That was key.
They can't get cute with either downs. And we had a chance to put them in the 3rd down. So yes, but Gary, I mean, as I mentioned, I think this morning, it's just a very unusual situation to be up by 5 with the ball on your 1 yard line in that deal with 52 or whatever was left in the game, and the question of do you let them score or do you not let them score? So a hard one. No good answers on it.
And then just as
great choices.
And then just as a quick follow, you guys have a lot going on with you had a couple players leave last week. You had this disappointment now this weekend. You're 5-5. This team hasn't responded well in these situations the last few years. How I know you just said you had a team meeting and all that, but how do you change that pattern and keep this season from falling into just a total I don't know if disaster is the right word, but bigger disappointment.
Yeah, well, I think if you look at who we are and what we've done this year, I mean, these guys have had the chance to get up the ghost, earlier. We were 2-4. Obviously we've been down in games, and like I said, the one thing that makes this football team uncommon is the way they fight. They fight for this program. They fight for each other. And there's a lot of pride. And I think that's why our older guys are important because we, met with them separately last night and their leadership will be crucial. This means a lot to them. All of a sudden, when you run out of that smoke for the last time, life hits you in a different way. And we had some of those guys express that to their teammates, in terms of what this means. When you're a freshman, you think you can play forever and you will play forever. But a couple of guys express how fast it goes. So, I can go on, Gary, is the DNA of what we've shown for 10 weeks. For 10 weeks, we've been, as mentally tough as a football team as I've been around.
Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear.
And I don't see any reason why that wouldn't continue this week.
Can y'all hear clearly?
Next, we'll go to Kobe Price. Kobe, go ahead.
Thanks, Carter, and thanks for the time, Manny. I wanted to kind of follow up on Gary's first question about decisions that you may have regretted or second guessed. When you looked at the film, on that defensive drive that Florida State scored on, you had the two timeouts you called. They came after some clock ran out. do you feel like you guys should have or could have called those timeouts earlier just so, the offense would have had more time in case they did score? I heard you on the radio mention that.
Yeah, certainly the way it turned out, those seconds all mattered, right? But, there were two things going on at once. One was what was Florida State's mentality, what was going to be their tempo in terms of how they're going to score, and then also how are they aligned? Can we see what they were lined up in and perhaps, so once they kind of got to the line, we saw their formation, saw what they were, I was able to run out and get timeout. But yeah, obviously, it goes without saying that every second mattered in that situation.
Then a quick second question. James Williams seemed like looked like a groin injury from where we were seeing that. I guess update on his status, what's going on with him?
Yeah, it's a soft tissue injury for James. It was pretty stiff and sore yesterday. We'll kind of see how it progresses throughout the week, and hopefully loosens up. We good for Saturday.
Next, we'll go to Manny Navarro. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. Curious if there was anybody else dinged up. Obviously, a physical game, some big hits. Some of your receivers took some big hits. Anybody on the offensive side banged up, or did you guys come out of it pretty good aside from that?
Yeah, the injury report last night, they were sore. There were a lot of bumps and bruises, I'm sure, both sides. It was a very physical game, as you mentioned. But as we talked about yesterday in our injury report, there was nobody that right now that would be, a for sure out for Saturday. So, but, it's going on week 11. There's a lot of bumps and bruises.
And not to necessarily compare this program to all the others, but there's a lot of teams across the country struggling that are, former national champions. Texas, for instance, Tennessee at times. When you look at the state of where you guys are at right now, Manny, do you at all sort of say, hey, we're not the only ones, having a 5-loss season? Or when you look at the big picture of trying to build this thing and get it right, do you sort of see it as, there's other examples of great programs that have won that just aren't getting there yet?
Yeah, I think your point, Manny. Like I always say, two things can be true at once, right? Yes, if you look around college football, there's a ton of parity, right? There's a ton of teams that have 3 losses in their conference. In the Big Ten and the SEC, you look at our league, how everybody's kind of squished in there together. But in our mindset, that doesn't make it okay, right? I think there's a respect factor for actually how hard it is to get your team back up to the top. But that doesn't mean we can sit there and say, aha, look, see, they're having issues and they're having issues, so that somehow justifies our issues. So yes, there is a respect for how hard it is. And how competitive college football is right now. And you just watch it every week with how the games are. But we know, for example, we know that all we were was a finish away from a chance to go, finish our season, go 6-2 in our league and beat Florida State, so and obviously we put ourselves in a hole. Now there are some things, as we know, that happened in the beginning of the year with injuries and roster changes and lineup changes and so on and so forth. So we had very little margin for error. I get all that. But, just because we have parity in college football doesn't mean that anybody's satisfied or happy or thinks it's okay that we're 500 in the league and 500 overall. So, but we do respect the fact that winning is not as easy as it appears, and the fine margins that we were on the proper side of the previous prior, we ended up on the wrong side Saturday.
Next, we'll go to Chris Stock. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, since you've been the head coach at Miami, your teams have been one of the most penalized teams in the country. 115th this year. What are you doing to fix the issue?
Yeah, they had discipline for that yesterday. Obviously the first drive of the game, they have 5 penalties on defense.
Discipline.
There's just an example of just guys being overhyped. I think we were offside 3 times and just guys just trying to do too much and trying to be so eager to make a play, and then we had a hitting a guy out of bounds on just a just again letting our emotional maturity get the best out of us. In that setting, in that scene, had a couple. We're drawing in towards the preventable penalties, the ones that happen before the snap and the ones that happen after the snap. We had a couple of false starts in offense. Now I'd say part of that you might credit to their crowd, which was phenomenal and loud and crazy. Other than that, some of the things that happened during the course of the game, they had 8 on them. I could get into, some of the details of that, but I'm really not allowed to. But we're looking to control what we can control. And certainly we knew that especially the way we started the game with our penalties on defense, just helped them get going and establish a rhythm, which is unacceptable.
What was some of the discipline stuff that you went through yesterday? Can you explain maybe some things that went through?
Yeah, there's physical discipline, and pushing a 45-pound plate around the indoor facility, things like that.
Who jumped outside?
That we do just to and for that accumulates for all the penalties that we have. So it's some things that nobody likes to do, and it's a reminder of how penalties don't, and everyone does it, so it hurts not just the player that creates the penalty, but it hurts the entire team.
Some things that nobody likes to do.
Next we'll go to David Blake. David, go ahead.
Oh, that's me.
Hey, Coach, want to ask you about just transfer portal, and wanted to get your thoughts on, with teams around the country likely going more to the transfer portal moving forward, do you think there's a chance that market resets and kind of starts to mirror the high school recruiting market? Essentially, the best programs, the most successful programs get the best players in the transfer portal too, moving forward.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how.
Oh, what happened? Who froze? They froze or we froze? I think Manny froze. Come on back now, Manny. Darn. All right, man, I have to get in and get back out of this.
Coach, you froze up there.
Yeah, Coach froze up. Y'all thought it was me, huh? Y'all trying to blame it on me.
Looks like he's gonna try to hop back on.
I saw him blink. Guess he'll be back in here. Guess he'll be back in here shortly. All right. I bet it happened. Hello, froze. I bet he happy he ass froze. Man, dog, y'all make me laugh, bro. Y'all be doing too much in the comment section, dog. Listen, man, way too much in the comment section, man. Tell me his nose moving, bro. Way too much in the comment section, man. You think he tricked us out? He like, man, I ain't answering that. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna stay here till I think I'm gone. Yeah.
Gordon, you guys hear me?
Hey, you back?
Yep, we can hear you now. I don't know. I think we just got a little bit of David's question. David, can you repeat your question real quick?
Yeah, just transfer portal. Moving forward, it seems like a lot of teams are also going to be looking to the portal for player acquisition. So I was just wondering, do you think there's a chance that transfer market might reset compared to previous years and kind of reflect high school recruiting, and that generally speaking, the best programs will get the best players in the transfer portal too?
I think that's a possibility. I think the key going forward is, obviously we know that college football is about to go through some major transformations. And I'll give you an example, like if some way, shape, or form the playoff expands. Right now we're in a closed loop playoff system where there's very few teams that have had access to the playoffs. So yes, that's always going to attract the players sort of to the top of the food chain. And I think we're seeing a competitive imbalance between those schools and the other ones. So I think a more inclusive playoff will help spread some of those players around your point. And you saw it this year with, how Alabama's offense changed with Jameson Williams coming in from Ohio State, and they got the linebacker from Tennessee. So that'll all be a part of it. But I think the other thing, Dave, to consider is that obviously the more people that are out there, right, everybody can only take so many people. So the fact that you've got this class now, you've got the high school kids, and you've got college kids, and you have college kids coming in from smaller divisions, different levels. So maybe that will add a little bit more parity and volatility. But it's certainly those at the top of the food chain. The way that the game is set up right now, we're always going to have an advantage.
Next, we'll go to Tom D'Angelo. Tom, go ahead. Bob, you there? Why don't we go to Susan Miller-Degnan from the Herald? Susan, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. You talk about the fight that your players have shown and they just never give up no matter what. Do you discern any differences in the attitudes, let's say, of the younger guys, the younger recruiting classes, and the veterans, the older guys? Are they all in one lump, or how do they differ in that regard?
I think as the years gone on, I think we've all sort of got into.
Man, you got roosters. Man, you got roosters cracking.
I just got muted. Can everybody hear me?
I couldn't just.
hear you.
Now we can.
Okay. I think early on in the season there was this, sort of old guy, young guy thing, and I think as the years gone on, I think to your point, the team has come together, and I think everybody's fighting together. You see guys like Rashard Smith making big red zone catches, making big plays down there.
Bad connection,
in Tallahassee. You obviously see what's happened on defense and how young we've gotten in the secondary. And so I feel the older guys are providing good leadership, and the young guys are following right along, and everybody's playing for each other.
Next we go to Matt Shodell. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. So
Hey, man.
I wanted to ask you a question with the benefit of hindsight. I know the defense has had some good moments this year. It's also allowing 408 yards a game, same as last year, more points than last year, over 30 points a game. So, I was curious, with benefit of hindsight again, do you think in some ways taking on the dual role of being head coach plus defensive coordinator was maybe more challenging than you thought it might be?
Yeah, I mean, you would say that if you were assuming that would be the reason why the numbers are the way the numbers are. I mean, we've had our challenges this year defensively. We're in week 11, and it's been hard for us to get settled in our secondary. And that's very. I think you compare offense and defense. You see, as our offensive lines got settled as years gone on, and how that's helped us on offense and secondary. We've had guys in and out in the lineup, and then you finally kind of get James going, and then James, is out. You've got Monte playing 54 snaps in Tallahassee in his, third ever college game or fourth ever college game, and Cam back there playing 77 snaps or whatever it is. And those guys are competing and fighting their tails off. And but getting our best four, getting our best five, and eventually our best
this is
six.
Manny's third year, right?
Really
Third year.
when James went out, because James is our dime. We can use Tyreek to dime. Now you have different changes up at corners. I mean, that's been a part of our inconsistency this year. So yeah, I mean, it's always hard to say, to answer your question, well, here's the reason why, and that that we're having the issues that we're having. But at this point, we're trying to get better every week and trying to find ways to play winning defense. And the reality is after the first penalty drive, they had a 12-yard drive after a sudden change, and they didn't get in the end zone until after the 4th and 14 play, which, generally speaking, in a Miami Florida State game, that's probably an improvement on performance from where we've been over the past weeks. That's what makes not finishing the game such a hard pill to swallow.
I mean, so just to clarify though, I mean, the reason I'm asking more so is, you guys are 5-5. You need a head coach who's obviously majorly focused on getting this thing on track. You also have to split that duty as a coordinator. I'm asking, is that a tough give and go where in hindsight, maybe it would have been a little easier for you had you had someone on the defensive side you could lean on more? That's sort of what I was pushing towards.
Well, that's where I'm blessed, because I've got a phenomenal defensive staff. I mean, you have guys like, Tavares Robinson and Bob Shoup and Jess Simpson, Jonathan Patke. You guys, been in this for a long time. You've got that. There'd be a greater concern, Matt, if the team wasn't playing. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, the fight, the energy, the motivation, the emotional toughness of the football team, that to me reflects what our program is all about. And that's the foundation for everything that we do successfully going forward. So I think the part as coaches is to get our guys to continue to execute better. And what we saw on Saturday is to get our guys to execute better in crucial moments, and so that that we can function when you're in highly stressful situations.
We're gonna try Tom D'Angelo again. Tom, are you there?
Try Tom
Yeah,
D'Angelo
can you hear me?
again. He ain't going back to
Yes, sir.
Tom.
Sorry, computer issue. Hey, Manny, you
Hey,
did
paying for
mention
bucks?
defense and how it has played well at the end of games, and even the games you lost. A lot of
Connection.
offense to get back into those games. But the last 11 minutes, Florida State's 2 drives.
PCS
and
mobile
then
phone.
11
Come on,
field
come
goal
on.
was the last one. Was there anything different in those 2 drives? That was it just you credit the other guy, or did you see something different in your defense than you did when you were able to, start the comeback in the second quarter?
The field goal drive was a very slow and methodical drive. They did not have an explosive play during that drive, which normally that's kind of been the sort of deciding factor of whether we have a good drive or a bad drive on defense. The season has been, if we don't give up explosives, we very rarely give up points. And when we do give up explosives, we normally give up points. They did not have an explosive play, which was a run of more than 12 or a pass of more than 16 that drive. They had to convert 4th and 1, which they got by an inch. And you got a red zone stop. It took a lot of time off the clock. And still had us up by 5 at that situation. The last drive was 2 plays. I mean, it's a long pass where they just did a phenomenal job of execution, better than they had shown all game. And then I keep coming back. And then they get down there, and we hold them tight for 3 plays, and we've got a 4th and 14 that we have to stop. Which, statistically, you should stop 4th and 14. It is what it is, and that's, like I said, that's our responsibility of getting our guys trained up in situations to understand in that type of stressful environment how to be able to play our best. We almost have that exact same situation in our 1-minute drill that we do again at practice on Wednesday. Pretty much the exact same coverage. Devontae Williams batted the pass down to sort of win the drill that day, and we didn't get it done. And that's what as a coach, that's what I'm responsible for. There are guys that play their best when the best is required.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to David Lang. David, go ahead.
I got a feeling they're not.
Hey, Manny, you said after the game that a lot of the early mistakes that the players were making were just being too hyped up and too much emotion, because it's a Miami, Florida State game. My question is, you are someone who is so familiar with this rivalry. How is it that the guys didn't have the understanding coming into the game of the types of emotions that they were going to feel and how to manage them?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you can talk about something, you can understand something intellectually, but then you actually get out there, and it's a whole different thing. And then I think
I agree with that.
Of the first quarter, I think what actually shows up is, again, defensively in the first drive, you could definitely see some guys that, as I mentioned earlier, that were making over aggressive penalties. But then after that, the next 2 times the defense goes out on the field, it's a sudden change situation. The defense gets 2 really, really important stops to keep us in the game. Offensively, we turn the ball over. I mean, that's simply it. And so more than the emotions, and yeah, was it an environment for us on offense that was, a little bit unique and all that sort of stuff to take some growing into? Yeah, all those things are true. But also, David, I'm going to kind of use what you said to further the point. There's been a lot of Miami, Florida State games through the years. The reason why they're normally classics is because sometimes somebody starts one way and someone starts the other way. And I can think of a whole bunch of games where Miami made the finishing play at the end where Florida State was up big. I can think of a bunch of games where Miami was up big and Florida State went on a run in the fourth quarter to win the game. So it is a game of momentum swings. And we had a lot of guys that were either in their first Miami, Florida State game or certainly in their first Miami, Florida State game in Tallahassee in that environment. We told them the last 2 years, if you were in the game last year, that wasn't a Miami, Florida State game. Really, the game up there 2 years ago was not quite a real Miami, Florida State game. The one Saturday was, and like I said, I thought our guys grew into the moment, grew into the occasion. We just didn't finish.
Manny, this is the first time that you, as a head coach at the University of Miami, have been on the losing end of one of those Miami, Florida State games. Again, you're so familiar with the rivalry. You grew up with the rivalry. What does it feel like in terms of other losses? Do you feel this as a bigger deal? Do you feel sort of all the hype going in and then the disappointment coming out? I know you have to move on, but it can't just be like any other loss, is it?
No, it's 100 times worse. It's like getting hit with a ton of bricks. I mean, and it's not just the loss; it's the way that we lost.
Right.
It's the way that our guys were so brave and so courageous and came back and took control of the game and just didn't
Y'all are
finish.
killing me in the comment section, bro.
You know, that's what I'm saying. The fourth and the 14th will haunt me forever. It just is what it is. It just happens. But that's what happens when you step into those games. There's been wild moments for both sides. And you know, we have to own it. We have to own it that we're on the wrong side of history for this game. But I think you may have mentioned this. The most important thing right now is we got to set that aside. We can't do anything about that today. We can't let this game beat us twice. We'll get a chance to play them next year in Hard Rock Stadium. But right now, we've got to move on to Virginia Tech, and that's why we've got to focus on our guys and focus on getting our older guys out when we win at home.
One quick follow. You mentioned the 4th and 14 is going to haunt you forever. Do you blame yourself for the 4th and 14?
As a coach, you always blame yourself. You always blame yourself because you're always looking for and it's not.
What did he
I
say?
think the easy thing to think is, well, is it a call? Beyond the call, it's like what could you have done more to prepare your guys to execute in that situation? And I think that's the point. Yeah, I mean, you're always, that's what being a coach is about. That's what being in the arena is all about. That's what being a competitor is all about. And then obviously, you got to tip your hat. They made a great throw. They made a great catch. But yeah, I mean, that's just those things. You work in this profession. Those things happen. It's a heck of a lot more fun when it happens for you. When it doesn't, it stings.
Thank you.
We got time for one more. We'll go to Gabby Uratia. Gabby, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. A month from right now, we're going to be talking about your signing class. Just wanted to get an idea of just how you're feeling about recruiting going into that, and then I guess hindsight looking into summer. Is there anything that maybe you guys would have done different to maybe add more numbers, whether it's just be more aggressive or just evaluating the recruiting philosophy in general of how you guys maybe approach this, maybe understanding that you guys are going to take less numbers because of the transfer portal and all that stuff. But is there anything that maybe you guys could have done differently to maybe add a couple of those talented guys over the summer and moving forward just throughout the rest of your tenure? Is there maybe something you could take away from the fact that while there's quality in this class, the numbers just aren't there, and how you can maybe just use that same approach, maybe tweaking it a little bit for future classes?
Yeah, I think there's
whatever, man. Man, we got time for one more. I think one black dude asked a question. We're gonna make this about black and white. We're affirmative action, man, and get to ask a question, man. Kobe Price, he the only one to ask a question, man. Come on, man. Dang. Nah, it's not that big of a deal to me. I was gonna ask him a good question though. I was gonna ask him about the recruiting stuff. I was gonna ask him, man, listen, man, last 15 years, #1 in coastal and recruiting. Why isn't it result to winning? You know what I'm saying? But hey, they didn't get to me, bro. They didn't get to me. Listen, one thing we were talking about, and we're gonna get on here. We still got to get on here with 1:30. Rhett Lashley. So one thing he was talking about, we were talking about was TVD. They already done started. We got 2 press conferences going at the same time. One thing we were talking about TVD and how he started that game, and one thing I talked about, man, the first time at Florida State, you know what I'm saying, and walking in the stadium and seeing everybody doing the tomahawk chalk. Listen, bro, you got to be built for that. You walk in there for the first time, it's something you've never seen before in a football game, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? I know we look at these players like they X-Men or something like that, but you have to be built for that, dog. You feel me? Like, dog, the first time I walked in there was when Ja'Cory Harris was a sophomore, and I walk in, and outside the stadium looks like a dump. It looked like a state fair. But when you walk in, and it was at night, inside the stadium, beautiful. The whole stand's going like this. The damn war chant bumping, and TVD from New Jersey, wherever he's from, probably has never seen an atmosphere like that. He's the leader of the team right now. You know what I'm saying? He go to the deer in the headlights look. Once your quarterback start looking crazy in football, dog, a lot of time everybody start looking crazy. and he started the game looking crazy.
Recording in progress.
But I'm gonna tell you this: as a sophomore, freshman, being in that atmosphere for the first time, some people could stand up on the first time, and some people can't.
I mean,
but
Coach Patke, you got us?
No, it's not easy. It's not easy.
All right, gotcha.
Connecticut, yes.
Hang tight. We'll have some people sign on here from that just closed out of Coach Diaz's. So hang tight for 1 second.
All right.
Recording stopped.
What y'all want to ask Coach Patke? Give me some good questions, man, for Coach Patke, man. Give me some good questions for Patke, man. I know y'all got some good questions for Patke. Put them in question form.
Recording in progress.
All right, Coach, we'll go into questions from some of our media members on the call. If you've got a question for Coach Patke, please use the hand raise function. Use it early to make sure we get to everyone. And, Coach, we're going to start with Barry Jackson from Miami Herald. Barry, go ahead.
Hi, Jonathan. I wondered on the 4th and 14 play late, obviously Keontra was a spy on FSU's quarterback on that play. Was he permitted to aggressively rush on that play? Because on the previous play on the 3rd and 14, Amari kind of looked like a spy, but quickly rushed and got pressure on the quarterback. So was Keontra allowed to rush in that instance?
Yeah, so we did have him spy on the quarterback. What we tell those guys is we don't go get them unless they get out of the pocket, off the mark. At times if it opens up wide open, and they would take it. At that moment, he didn't feel like he was off the mark, so he didn't go and rush, because we don't want to bury ourselves. We don't want to rush, and then that quarterback gets out on the run, and we know what he can do with his feet. That's how they beat Syracuse. So he was a little bit patient there. Looking back, maybe could have made a play, maybe not. But he was doing what he was supposed to do in that instance.
Thanks, Joe.
Coach, next we'll go to Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Patke. Wanted to ask you about the two freshmen that you guys just got, Johnson and I'm forgetting the other kid's name. But you guys obviously had a couple linebackers you brought in. Just their progress. I know behind the scenes they're working to get there so you can put them on the field. Just wonder where they're at in the development.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson and Troutman. Troutman, he's coming along. I think he's close to getting there. Obviously the more reps he can get at practice, obviously we throw him out there at practice when we can. So I think he's going to have a bright future. And then Tyler, he got here a little bit later than Troutman. Got here towards the end of the summer, so he was a little bit behind, just as far as getting reps and sitting in meetings. So a little bit further behind as far as mentally, but athletically, they're everything you want. Long, can run, physical. So those guys will have a bright future here, in my opinion.
Just as a quick follow, I think we saw Chase Smith. I mean, I know he was been with the Strikers, but did you guys have him inside at all, or one of the two, weak side or middle in the game? We saw him get some snaps.
No, he went in and played striker for us and did a really nice job. Been waiting to get him into the game, and it so happened to be this game, and went in there and made 2 tackles, I believe. He got around 10 snaps, and then he's also can be part of our third down package. So the guy he's been locked in, he's focused. Really excited to get him out there and let him watch him run around and make tackles. So it was good to see. I think you can see the amount of young guys we have out there, and they're learning by the fire at times, but also their playmaking ability shows up.
Reminder to please use the hand raise function. If you've got a question for Coach Patke, we'll go to Daryl Streeter of Football Bill. Daryl, go ahead.
Coach, to follow up on Chase Smith, does he have the tools to convert to linebacker future in his career?
Yeah, I mean, his length. I mean, he's a really big guy. Obviously, when I recruited him as a striker because I love his length and his speed and he's quick, he's fast. He played wide out and safety in high school. So, but with that frame, you can also put on with in another offseason, he could end up being big enough to come inside, and I know he's physical enough. He loves ball. He's a headhunter. He's got a nose for the football. So definitely, you always want your best 11 out there. So we got to find a way to, if that's inside or striker, whatever it may be. But he did show up the other day.
And one follow-up.
Coach, next we'll go to Susan Miller-Degnan at the Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Wondering about your perception on how it might have been different in general had Manny Diaz hire a defensive coordinator as opposed to taking on, that role all himself and having to wear all the hats also that a head coach has to wear, and how much more complicated that's made it. What, you being a defensive guy, how do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think you can ever look at the other side of that. We are where we are, and Coach Diaz is doing a great job, in my opinion, of building this program and calling plays. And I think it's natural for him to call defenses, and that's what he wanted to do. And I don't think you can second guess that after a loss. I just don't think in a big game you always want to second guess a call or what we're doing inside.
It ain't that big. It's not that big of a deal. It ain't that big of a deal.
Obviously, he's my mentor in this business, and I've learned this defense underneath him. And we played a lot of great defense here, and while he was calling the plays, so really, really elite defense. And if you go back to your 16, your 17, your 18 when he was DC, you're talking top 10 in the country. So he knows he can do it.
Not mad at
we all believe in him as a staff. So I don't ever think about the other side of it.
Coach, we'll go next to Matt Shodell from Kingsport. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Jonathan. So I wanted to ask you about that final punt to Florida State. I thought that the returner had signaled for a fair catch. Maybe he did not. Can you tell me what happened on that? And then also, is one of your guys supposed to run behind the returner in case?
Yeah, he asked 2 questions.
If we want to down it, obviously we want to down that at the 1 yard line like we did earlier in the game. Earlier in the game, we were actually on the plus side of the territory, so I can always tag a pooch onto our punt, which tells our gunners to go ahead and bypass the returner and go to the 1 yard line and down it, just like they did beautifully before in the game. Now, the last punt we were minus 45 yard line. The guy had just muffed the punt. I really wanted him to field it because I think he would have muffed it again. And what happened was our guys surrounded him. We did not tag Boots because I wanted to, he did fair catch. We surrounded him, and at the last second, he pulled out of it. He didn't want to field the ball. So, it was an unfortunate bounce. It landed on the 15 yard line. It took a 15 yard bounce, and we got it. It was close. Malik had his hands on it while it was going into the end zone. So it was just an unfortunate bounce, but we were hoping he fielded it one way or the other. Either he was going to muff it, and we were going to gain possession, or it was going to be on the 15 yard line. So, I think Lou executed beautifully a kick that we wanted, and the gunners were surrounding the returner open. He already dropped one. We wanted him to drop another one.
Coach, last hand up I got for you is from David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Cut me off when he said the last hand up.
Hey, John, I want to ask you about the penalties, which I know obviously are just limited to one unit. But you got, I think the linebackers, all three jumped off sides on that first possession there. It's obviously just been kind of a persistent issue the last few years here. I don't know. What do you guys need to do to clean that up?
Yeah, I feel like in the last couple of weeks we have cleaned up our penalties. I think that first drive, penalties come because of emotion. And when you become emotional and you start pressing, you start getting penalties. So I think our guys were emotional in a big time game. And then, so Corey jumped off with the pressure. They got us on a hard count, which we knew that they did hard count at times. So they got Corey. And then in the red zone, they got K4 on the same thing. He was on a pressure, so he ran into the center. And then they got K4 on a Keontre. They got him on a horse collar, which he had him by the shoulder pad, and the guy didn't come backwards. So I don't know what you call that. I didn't think that was a horse collar in my opinion, but it goes down in the books as a penalty. So we had to treat it as one, and we had to take care of that as a team, which we do every week. We don't allow penalties, and we can't have those. So, jumping off sides in the first drive was unfortunate. They got us. We got to calm down after that. Obviously, got on their snap mechanics, and that they were going hard count on us quite often. But the horse collar on Keontre, it's go back and watch the film. He had him on the shoulder pad, and the guy fell forward. So I think the definition of a horse collar is the guy has to go backwards. So that's one of those say, hey man, you can't do that. and you got to be punished for penalties. But some of those are questionable in my opinion. And the one on the sideline that Keontre got later, same thing. It was a bang play. His foot was still in bounds. He was pulling up out of bounds. Keontre went to hit him while his foot was still in play. So it's either I tell the guys to slow down and don't take a shot at the guy that's still in the field of play, or it's going to be a 50-50 call on whether we get that. I think there's multiple penalties that you can get pre-snap. Obviously, we can't have it. That can't happen. That's playing with emotion. That's whatever you may call it. But during the play penalties, those are if they're just blatant, they're blatant. But I don't think the two on Keontre were blatant. But obviously he has a man up for those, and he did, and we constantly got to coach that. But I think in the last few weeks we have gotten better with penalties. It's unfortunate that in a game like that we had to start off the first drive with so many penalties.
Thank you.
Coach Patke, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. Good luck this week in practice. We appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. You guys hang tight. We'll have Coach Lashley here at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Recording stopped.
2 o'clock, big doggy. Coach Patke don't sound sure of himself at all, do he? He repeated that, and then as soon as I looked down, he said he repeated it 6 times. He don't sound sure of himself at all. What I was talking about before we got on is, listen, bro, you have to be built to go in an atmosphere and play like that. I can only imagine that. Like Manny said, you can tell them about the rivalry all you want to. How they deal with it when they get there, something totally different. I ain't making no excuses for TVD, but he started off rough. Somebody got on here and said that I jinxed him. Man, I just know how I see football, and I talk how I see football. He started off rough, and I'm here to tell you, dog, the atmosphere is crazy. I'm trying to find the remote to my thing. What happened to me? Yeah, I'm here to tell you, dog. It's not easy. It's not. It's damning. It's a damning situation, and it can catch you off guard. It's something. I'm sure a lot of y'all have been there and y'all have seen it, but you saw it from a fan perspective. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to really give Florida State any credit. But what I'm saying is that college atmosphere like that, seeing it for the first time, having to play in it, having to communicate with the people for the first time ever, yeah, it could be a lot on a freshman quarterback, a sophomore quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he didn't start off fast. We spotted the people 17 points. He was spooked by number 11. But he couldn't be spooked by number 11 before the game started. Man, 11 was on our ass. Man, this is when we started saying the O-line playing well again. Did Keir Thomas play well? What did Keir Thomas? Did Keir Thomas do anything? Well, yeah, D. Burnett, we can always go back to that, Big D. We can always go back to that. We can always go back to were they ready to play? And then it goes back to the general. You're right. We can always go back to that. At the end of the day, it is that. And if you listen to me every day, you know that's what time it is. Oh, man, we've been on here jacking around for so long. I ain't even get my stuff off, man. Y'all want to get involved with IOD squad, man? I got to check and see what's going on with the market right now. Y'all want to get involved with the IOD squad, bro? Listen. Hey, boy, y'all jumped all over that $20 thing Friday. I don't know when I'm going to do that again, but y'all was all over it. Might not do it again anytime soon, but you got to take advantage of these things. Y'all want to get involved with IOD squad, man. Want to learn how to invest your money. Oh, well, not learn. I'm not your financial advisor. We show you what we invest in, and you can copy, which is one of the hardest things to do when you're investing, because the first thing is, I got $500 in Robinhood. I don't know where to put it at. So we let you see where we're putting our money, and you can copy it. I'm going to place the link right into the. I'm gonna I'll put the link into the YouTube. Pin it at the top, which I should have did already. I didn't do. I don't know why I ain't doing it yet. Tripping going on. Let me look at some. Now that I'm in here, let me look at some of these badges. So if you're on YouTube, there's the link. Bam. I'm gonna pin that to the top. Let me look at some of these badges. Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. Where that come from? I know y'all been watching BML. Can't stop the rain. There it is. IOD squad. Let me take a look at some of these badges, man. Sean Rounds got that 6-month badge. Joshua Steele's got the 2-month badge. Joshua, I feel like you've been a member for 2 years, not 2 months. Joshua got that 2-month badge. Don Snaps got the 6-month badge. Let me see who got the most time in here. Insane got the 2-month badge. Who in here right now got the most time? Let's see. Look like 6 months is the most time. Can't stop the rain. So shout out to everybody with those member badges, man. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna make some more of these emojis. We got these emojis down here that's only for us. These eye emojis. Y'all feel me? These emojis, you can only use them on our channel. Give me some emojis. What y'all think we need? What y'all think we need? What kind of emojis y'all think we need? I'm gonna create some more emojis. What y'all think we need? But if you're on YouTube, you can see those emojis. Those emojis only for us, dog. Can't stop the rain. How you make a dude do a full spin move, bro, going to the lead off that one play? What spin move play everybody talk about? I must be missing this, dog. What are we talking about here? Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, FSU versus Miami spin move. Who did a spin move, dog? Everybody keep talking about this spin move. I must be was Miami, Florida State thrilling ending. Who did the spin move? I must be missed this play. Spin move. Maybe I gotta put his name. Jermaine Johnson was bringing the rain. He was cutting TVD water off. He was cutting TVD water off. No chipping, no double team. IOD emoji. Shout out to CEO. Shout out to CEO, big dog. Dang, dog, I should have been all over that CEO. I'm on that CEO. Shout out to CEO, dog. You need a free t-shirt or something. What truck at? Truck in here, man. We ran out of 2X t-shirts, truck. I've been trying to get back to your message, dog. I be getting busy, man. 786-405-949. Y'all can still text if y'all want to get started, dog. If y'all want to get started, 786-405-9. I'm lying. Ain't no call in. 786 if y'all want to get started. 786-405-9499. If y'all want to get started with the IOD. Let me check this market out right now while we got a breaky break. IOD. I should have been all over that, dog. So who the spin move? Who did the spin move? A stripper emoji. I think we got a stripper emoji. She looked like a stripper, don't she? It wasn't really a spin move. He got it, then spin. You talking about Zero? Miami trash. How you lose to the worst team in college football? A rivalry game. Same way Auburn get Alabama ass every now and then, and they be sorry in the mother. It's a rivalry game. Same way we went up there and played with Florida, with Jaren, with Jaren Party Man Williams, a rivalry game. That's how it happened. Rooster. Oh, yeah. You say Rooster. I thought somebody did it on us. Oh yeah, that's on my Insta Grizzy. Yeah, I got that now. That's on my Instagram now. I got that. IOD Squad. For everybody that's on Facebook and Twitter, check out the link. IOD Squad, man. Come see what we investing in. We just let you copy what we invested in. That's it. Simple as that. Shout out to Synergy Sweets, man. She in the building this week. Kyle, she in the building this week, right? She should be doing deliveries because nope, the 19th should be the last day she take orders, right? Talk to me, Kyle. 19th is the last day she taking orders. And she'll be here on my birthday, around the week of my birthday, the 21st. Man, I need some birthday presents from y'all or something, man. Need some $40 or something. Where the spin move at, dog? Let's see. And then after this, I'm gonna make y'all cry. Three hit him with everything he had too. Three hit him with everything. The kitchen sink. He hit him with everything he had now. Y'all ready to cry? Say anything make you laugh or make you cry. Say anything make you laugh or make you cry, dog. Say anything make you laugh. I'm out of here. I'll be back. sick of this? Come on, we ain't have to see this like somebody died or something. We ain't have to see this. Like, look, y'all want to see a dead body? Anybody want to see a dead body? Can't stop the rain, dog. You can't stop the rain. All right, man. Y'all want to take it down? All right, man. The same thing to make you laugh, man, to make you cry, dog. Same thing, dog. How many games we got left? How many games we got left, dog, huh? Oh, my God. 3, 2. Come on, man. You can't stop it. Oh, man. To my fine man today, goddamn it. Shout out to BMF, man. Just a couple of weeks, dog. Our goals were still in front of us. Yeah, we lost to Alabama, but they do that to everybody. Our goals are still in front of us. And I was saying, the rain ain't coming because the goals ain't got here yet. Then we waiting on Pitt to lose. Overtime with North Carolina, scratch it. Down 0-17 to the 3-6 Florida State team that make Willie Taggart team look like the 2000 Miami Hurricanes. And we jump off sides. The game on the line. You can't stop the rain, dog. Can't stop the rain, dog. Mess with y'all, man. Sigmund say you like watching horror movies. Ray Ross yelling, stop, make it stop, the pain. 15 years of 7 and 6. Oh my God, make it stop. I don't even know. Listen, bro. To Corey, listen, bro. It's like a lot of people were standing flat-footed. That dude found an open hole in the zone. He went behind a guy, and then he came out from behind the guy and found an open hole in the zone. And it just was a lot of people standing flat-footed, almost as if they haven't practiced that enough. That's what it looked like to me. Like they haven't practiced that enough. The reason I put this play up, okay, let's stop joking. The reason I put this play up, right, is because what I did was ask, where my coaches at? Where all my coaches at? Where my coaches at? What we doing here? What we doing here? Let me tell you, let me get some of the good answers that I got. Darrell Eskridge, y'all remember Darrell Eskridge? Shout out to Darrell Eskridge, Miami Central. I would have played 2-man match with both safeties over the top. Shout out to Darrell Eskridge. Let me get some of those. So they're in the cover 4 umbrella coverage. Keep everything underneath nickel. Nickel corner that got beat. Keep everything. They're in the cover 4 umbrella cover. Keep everything underneath. Nickel corner that got beat. I think he's talking about Couch. Didn't play his responsibility in the coverage. Self-discipline. Self-discipline hurt him. Will said, reroutes, there were none. Undertaker says, man, the coach has to give it up. The program has to start from scratch. Number 4 should have pushed the pocket. Running back went out to the other side. If he was pushing the pocket, it would have helped the D tackle get one-on-one to force the quarterback to at least move. May have forced. Yeah, Keontae was just watching. The zone concept wasn't a problem. DBs got to sync with their threats. IVTC could have made the play. A lot of people were standing flat-footed, dog. It wasn't just TC. You feel me? 11-14 wide, 8 letting him go free. Nothing coming out the backfield. I think 8 had somebody else on his side. So I asked the question. The question basically was, where my coaches at? Get my coaches in here. What are we doing right here? Florida State fan, y'all had a 4-year run though. Not bad, but we played like we had to beat y'all just to make sure the rivalry stayed real. For now, the turnover chain is ours. See you next year if you want it back. Y'all want to roll it? Who was covering who? Horrible coverage. Turn that crap off. Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. I bet you we see a lot of Thad going forward. Thad gonna make us excited about next year, dog. Watch.
To our guys. Because sometimes people do a good job and they force you to try to beat them.
Yeah, I like last year.
Not doing what you do best.
I think last year a good guy,
It's
dog.
hard, but that's football, and that's what good games should have happening. We were able to do that. We were able to put those scoring drives together a little bit.
I got a question for Lashley.
And some guys make some big plays, and so we just weren't able to obviously make the last play at the end. With regards to the last time we had the ball, really the last time. Looking back, we got the first down and then got into a 3rd and 4 situation. It's easy to say now. Yeah, I was in between 2 calls. Wish I'd have gone with the other one now. Clearly, their defensive ends usually squeezed and they ran up the field that didn't allow Will to kind of run first and before he went out. And so it made it look like a pass. Their Will linebacker made a good play. We only got 2 out of it. And then you get down to that decision, it was 4th and, a long 1.5, almost 2, like you said. And honestly, in my opinion, I don't think Coach had a wrong decision. I think if you choose to go for it there, you're being aggressive. You're trying to win the game. And I think there's a lot of merit in that. I also think the way our defense had played, they hadn't scored in the second half. I mean, they hadn't scored. We were on a 28-3 run and we were headed at the 40-something yard line. You think you're going to punt the football down the field and, get great, almost down the ball at the 1, but even then, ball in the 20, I don't think there's a wrong decision there. And I think our whole team and staff were all behind what we did. And if we'd have gone for it, we'd have been behind that too. And that's just how those critical decisions go. If you go for it and don't get it, everybody's going to watch you go for it. I don't think there's a wrong decision. Like I said, we were prepared to go for it. We were prepared to punt. I think when you look at
how many sacks did 11 have?
We should have gotten the 4 yards to begin with, and I've been in that situation. And then they hadn't scored the whole half, so I think that made a lot of sense.
Coach, next we'll go to Susan Miller-Degnan of the Miami Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hello, Rick.
Hey, Susan.
Hey, I'm Jalen Knighton. I know he had that great catch and run touchdown play. But, in the running game, he averaged, I guess, 2 yards a carry on 16 rushes. I know Thad Franklin also had 1 catch for 18 yards. Can you talk about that whole situation there where you're more frustrated than you thought you would be? And Thad, is there anything holding him back as far as getting
question,
carries?
Susan.
And I guess Cody didn't either.
Yeah, no, there's no frustration there. I mean, I think
Three
the first two
sets?
drives, we really didn't run it much. And then tried to run a little bit in that third drive to kind of settle things down. And we had, like I said, I think we had a 6-yard run, a 7-yard run, another 2-yard run that was really close to popping. And then he got just a little bit banged up, nothing major. I think that probably affected him just a tad, but he came back well. And like I said, when we got down,
What you talking about?
the way we did, just the way the game dictated at that point, we didn't abandon the run. I think we still ran it 23 times and had probably about 30 run calls out of our 70 snaps. But we needed to make something happen. And so I don't regret the way we called the game after that because, like I said, we won on a 28-3 run, but we didn't have as many run attempts after that. So obviously we weren't ever able to be explosive or anything like that in the run game. But I think, again, we did what we had to do to move the ball and score when we needed to do it. We clearly weren't doing that in the first quarter and a half. In regards to Thad and Cody, they both got in the game in a limited way. Thad did have the good catch. There was no intentions to not hand them the ball. You obviously saw what Ethan Bouchard at running back at 2, and that was kind of the plan by committee with those 3 guys behind Jalen. And those guys just got to keep growing up and keep practicing, keep playing. That's all they got to do. It always sounds easy to say, hand the ball to this guy or that guy, but those guys are true freshmen and they've got a lot to continue to improve on, but they're also in the mix, and those are the guys we have, and those guys are going to continue to play the rest of the way.
Coach, we'll go next to Manny Navarro from The Athletic.
We're gonna get a lot of Thad.
Hey, Red. Obviously, this was Manny's decision ultimately. When FSU got down there to the 1, and I think you guys had 2 timeouts left. But he said you guys did talk about it. Just curious if he asked you at all, hey, how much time do you think we need to get in field position? Was that part of the discussion at all in regards to them scoring or not letting them score per se?
That's tough. I mean, obviously when they catch the 4th and 14 and get to the 1-foot line, in a position to where even if you call both of your timeouts, it's really hard to say you're going to get it back. There's no good answers. But you're also ahead. It's different if you're down a point, you just let them score, and get the ball back or something. But you're ahead, I mean, again, you talk about 2 decisions that it's easy to armchair and say, well, you should have done this, should have done that when you don't win the game. The 4th and 2 and then that. But I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard of somebody surrendering a game-winning touchdown. Like, if you just think in college football, I don't know. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm sure it has somewhere.
Have y'all ever seen that before?
Heard of a team being ahead, letting another team score. As hard as that is.
Yeah, the way he put that, it does sound.
If you let them score, maybe you have 40, 45 seconds instead of.
The way he put that does sound like, hey, that might be a little. Yeah, you might be right.
If they were going to score, you definitely would rather have just done it on the 4th and 14 and maybe the first time. But things happen, right? You knock them back on a sneak, they fumble the exchange, you get them to the 2-yard line, or they false start on the goal line. I mean, those things happen all the time in college football. And so those are the discussions we were talking about. Like I said, there's not really a great answer. I would say if those probability meters are up at that point, 1st and goal at the 1-foot line is probably 99% in their favor. They're going to win in all categories, no matter which way we chose. And I think it's just one of those situations that rarely happens where you get a team in that position and you're having to decide, do you surrender the game-winning point or not? That's how hard that decision is.
Go ahead, Manny.
I was going to do a quick follow. I'm sorry, Cam.
Yeah.
Just in retrospect, I guess
Manny Navarro been doing it for 30 years.
What's the rule there with the runoff, the 2 seconds? Because I think you completed the play with 2 seconds left. Just that particular instance. You can address that.
No, great question. We're prepared for that, actually. You look back, there should have been 3 seconds, first of all. It's clear. You can watch the replay. We're down at 3 seconds. Had they reviewed it, they would have put 1 second on the clock, but it still was a long shot at that point. The way we work those mechanics is, we know the rule. If it's 2 seconds or less, you can't clock the football because a play takes 2 seconds. If it's 3 seconds or more, we would clock it. Because you're going to clock it, you're going to have probably a second left, and now you can throw a Hail Mary or whatever it is you need to do, given the situation. We make a bingo call if it's under 3 seconds. So if we get a first down like that, it stops. And
That
it's a 1-2,
halfback
we
dive
make
got a
bingo
first
call,
down
which
this
is just
time,
like
Raymond
our
Rowe.
payday on offense. Get the ball as soon as we snapped on the whistle and everybody's going vertical, and try to get one last play off. What happened with Tyler is when we got tackled, I remember looking up at the scoreboard and it said 3. Well, Tyler looked up and saw 3, and I waited to watch for it to tick to 2. And then when I turned to give the signal, he was already full go to go spike the ball because in his eyes there was 3 seconds. That's exactly what he told me when I asked him kind of what he said, Coach. I looked up and saw 3 seconds, so I was going to spike it as fast as I could. And so he knows the rules. We had prepared for that. He thought it was 3 and then took off and didn't see it tick down to 2. I don't know in real time. It felt like it ticked to 2 at the last second, but by the time I turned to look to him to try to be signaling our bingo call, we were in full spike the ball mode, and there was really no way to stop it. And if you look even how he spikes it kind of hesitantly, it's because at the last, right before he snaps, he looks up and sees the clock says 2. And I think he kind of realized.
We still would have had to throw a Hail Mary, right?
So he knows we prepared for it. I think, the best thing we can do to make sure that never happens is he's just got, even though he looks and sees 3, he's got to look to me and let me be that guy and make that call. So he knows the rules, prepared. He gave everything he had. Like I said, he thought there was 3, and that's why he was trying to clock it.
Let's go to David Wilson from the Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Rhett. This kind of got lost, I guess, in a game like that, but Charleston's now, I think, 5th on the single season receiving yards list. Of Miami's obviously been red hot here to finish the year.
Ask my question.
Yeah, I think when you guys got him, we all knew he was going to be probably a pretty good player for you, but I know his last year at Oklahoma, he kind of started to lose some playing time. I'm curious, has he exceeded your expectations in any way, or surprised you, just this run that he has been on down the stretch here?
Obviously when we recruited him here, we had hoped that he would make this kind of an impact, especially on the outside for us. And, between him and Keyshawn Smith and those younger guys, Mello and Jacoby, we felt like we'd be better out there, and we have been. To some degrees, yeah. I mean, statistically, he's probably exceeded that expectation a little bit. When we talked about, the rarefied air he's getting into at a place like the University of Miami. I think the great thing about him is he's just gotten stronger as the year went on. And that's probably the part that's exceeded the expectations. I think he'll be the first to tell you he didn't play his best game the other night. None of us did, especially early, but boy, he made some big catches in that third and fourth quarter for us. A big 4th down catch, a big catch coming out of our end zone. And like I said, I know for Tyler, you talk about a young guy that they did get to work with him in the spring. When you're a young quarterback, making all these first time starts and things, to have a guy with that experience and that consistency, that there's just something to it at quarterback. You got a lot of confidence when you throw at a guy like that. And I think you see that when Tyler throws it his way. So there's no question he's been everything we had hoped for and probably even more.
Last question for you, Coach, is going to come from Kobe Price of the Sun Sentinel. Kobe, go ahead.
Hey, sorry about that. Hey, Rhett, wanted to ask about, obviously we mentioned this, I think, or you mentioned this last year about, you've been in Iron Bowl games, you've been in these intense environments, and, you've won Iron Bowls, you lost on them as well. I guess, whatever you take away from those experiences, I guess, help you make sure guys can stay together over the last couple of games, even, with the conference not being in play anymore?
I think the way our guys have handled this year that has been filled with more adversity than I've had in any season I've coached. I mean, it's from the way, we started really, game 1 didn't go the way we hoped, but by game 2,
my hand not raised. Maybe I didn't raise my hand.
Critical injuries for the season. I don't know. When you talk about losing your franchise, your franchise quarterback.
No, actually, I don't take stuff personal like that.
Teams in the NFL, look what the Houston Texans are without Deshaun, and look what the Seahawks are without Russell Wilson. When you lose your guy, I don't think that gets enough play. I don't think that's been talked about.
Raise it late and see
you
what
lose a guy that's preseason potential Heisman guy. It doesn't matter if he's not had his best 2 or 3 games or whatever. When you lose the leader of that guy, and then you lose 3 linemen, and you lose 2 of your top 3 running backs and guys who lost on defense and a lot of those guys before we ever played a conference game. I think the way our guys have battled through that, and a lot of negativity and disappointment, expectations they had of themselves to be where we were 4 or 5 weeks ago and to be where we are now. I think that tells you all you need to know about the makeup of our team. I think the game the other night, I mean, we're down 17-0. I've only been in like you said, an Iron Bowl type atmosphere. One of the times where it was that negative against you early. You know, in 2010, we played Cam Newton's year. We're at Tuscaloosa, and the similar situation. They got really good players, but they weren't having the year they had hoped for, and we get down 24-0. And it was just the same feel. I mean, it was like there's just this avalanche of momentum going against you, and you just don't know what you can do to make it stop. And most of the time, people let go of the rope, or if at best they fight as hard as they can to come back and lose by 14 or whatever, and have some respect. And I think our guys showed what's in them, just like they have all year, to come back from 17-0, go on a 28-3 run, and grab the game 28-20 with 7 or whatever minutes it was to go. No, that's what I told the guys. I mean, there's no moral victories. We lost. It's devastating, the game we lost and how we didn't close it out in those last 7 minutes. But the way our guys have competed and fought through these things all year,
like rep, don't y'all?
That's how we'll get through these last few weeks. They've given too much. They've expended too much energy to fight back to where we are now. I mean, we played six conference games decided by a total of 16 points. I've never heard of that. You know, and so, you know, that a lot of times Iron Bowl's last game of the year, so I didn't have a lot of scenarios where it was coming out of that kind of game and we were trying to get them ready for the next 2 like we are now, to answer your question totally. But we did have that discussion. Like I said, you can be really disappointed in the outcome and really disappointed that, yeah, there were some things we could have done. We could have started the game better. We could have finished the game better. We didn't win. We didn't get it
I don't
done.
know about
There's
all
no
that still of the
excuses for
game,
that,
man.
but you can still be really,
Maybe
really
going a
proud
little
of
too
the
far
guys for how they competed and how they played and how they fought. And I'm really, really proud of the guys. I'm proud of the whole team, but I'm really proud of our unit on offense for, you know, getting punched in the face and not playing well early. And
Coach Hayes was in here? I didn't see Coach Hayes.
And finding another way to compete, fight, and claw, and get back in that thing, give ourselves a chance to win. Because it shows what our guys are made of. It shows the continuity, the culture. It shows the togetherness, the teamwork, that our guys believe in what we're doing. So that's, to me, you know, what we've talked about, and that's how we get through these last 2 weeks and hopefully beyond that.
Coach Lashley, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us today. Good luck this week in practice.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. Oh man, listen, bro. Y'all be taking this stuff serious, huh? I don't take that stuff personal, fool. Some of it be business, some of it be mishaps on my end. Yeah, listen, man. Don't take things in life. Don't take everything in life personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take that stuff personal. You know what I'm saying? I know I fought to get where I am and to be able to be in here, and a black man with a small media company. I know the ins and outs and the things I've had to go through with Cam and those guys and to earn their respect. So a lot of it I don't take personal. Not at all. Maybe I should, but I don't. I stay in my lane. I keep moving. Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. Oh boy, let's see. Yeah, a lot of that stuff, dog. I'm a real G, dog. They still mad at X. Nobody ain't mad at X, dog. Can't stop the rain. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. That was our dog. That was our dog. That was our ace boot cool, dog. That was our ace boot cool, dog. Randy, dog. That was our dog. She done copped out on us, man. And gave us old L dog. Oh, man. It's all bad. Listen, man, on that note, man, listen, bro. Listen, on that note, I'm going to get up out of here. FYFL Super Bowl this weekend, and that LauderdaleLakes 12U team took it all. I got to go rewatch the game again. I wasn't there, but that LauderdaleLakes 12U team knocked off Golden Army, and then they knocked out one of the top. Well, Golden Army was ranked in the nation, too, and they knocked out the Lauderdale Lions, one of the top teams in the nation, out of nowhere. So shout out to LauderdaleLakes. I don't have a shout out to Lambeau 13U. I think they took down Malachi, which is De La son. Beat them pretty bad. They're 13U for the championship. But Malachi will be, not sure what high school he's going to, but he will be in high school somewhere, slot wide receiver, somebody quarterback, and that's De La son, Antonio Brown, the guy who I interviewed with the crazy life, once beat Devin Hester in the race. Shout out to Bam, Ravens 8U. I heard Rod Mack's 10U team got beat bad. I heard I don't have the final score. I heard it was running clock, but I'm not sure what happened there. I have to get the details on that. So yeah, man, FYFL Super Bowl went down this weekend. AYFL Super Bowl went down this weekend. Brian Davenport and his Miramar Patriots took it home. Brian was the MVP. Brian can't get to Miami fast enough. Brian, go follow Brian Davenport on Instagram, man. He's trying to start like a 2027, bring the crib back to the U. Go support him, dog. Y'all go support him. He's trying to start a class of 2029, make the crib great again. Go follow him on Instagram. Tell him Footballville sent you, dog. Go check out some of his merch. But yeah, him and Najee Davenport are really trying to get some kids on board to go with Brian to the University of Miami, make the crib great again. So go follow him on Instagram, Brian Davenport on YouTube. Go check that out. Listen, bro, I'm gonna get up out of here. James Williams, they said James Williams, he said he's hurt, right? He said like a groin, right? But I think he's good. Can't stop the rain. I'm gonna get up out of here, bro. Got some running to do. But I'm D-Man. If you want to get involved, 786-405-9499. Send us a text or just hit. Send us a text or just hit the link in the description right here. IOD Squad. It's also pinned at the top. It's also pinned at the top of the YouTube. And I'm going to get out of here and leave y'all with this. I'm D-Man. I appreciate y'all so much, dog, man. And see y'all tomorrow, big dog. Can't stop the rain. Can't stop the rain. All right, so listen. I know you hear everybody saying Bitcoin, Shiba, Dushlon, and all these cryptocurrencies out here. You don't really know what they're talking about. I'm here to tell you this. You don't have to know what they're talking about. Right now is a critical time in our economy where wealth is being exchanged, and you can put your money into something and get rich. It's the beginning of the internet again. It really is. You remember 1999 Y2K? We thought internet was going to end the world. The computers was going to stop and all that crazy mess. We didn't know what it was, but today we can't live without the internet. It's happening again, and it's called a blockchain, and you can invest in it right now. We make it easy for you to invest in it. Just come and copy what we do, and you can learn as we go. Come check us out, man. The IOD Squad. invest or die. We make it easy to invest. Come check us out. You can't stop the rain, though. You can't stop the rain, though. When the rain starts to fall, you can't stop.